Hi everyone! We're in our very cold garden. I'm sure you're watching this in your very cozy, snuggly lounges, all wrapped up warm. So, we had a birthday recently in our family. Can you guess whose birthday it was? Was it Jude's birthday? Was it Jude's birthday? Jude, how old are you now?
4.
4 years old. You're such a big boy, aren't you? Now, I've got a really tricky, difficult question for you. Can you remember your birthday 2 birthdays ago? So that's 2 birthdays ago. And can you remember what birthday present you got? Should we ask Eleanor? Can you remember what birthday present you got from 2 birthdays ago?
No.
No, Eleanor can't remember. Jude, can you remember? Oh, he's thinking. No, but he can't remember. Can you remember?
No, I remember I turned 21. I can't remember.
Remember, we talked about not lying, didn't we? So we've got to be careful about that.
So I've got another question just to change the subject. Can you remember a time that you really desperately wanted something? It might have been a birthday present or a Christmas present. And do you remember the moment that you opened that present and you saw that you had it? Were you really excited? Now, did that feeling last? Did it get a bit old? We're going to look at a story now that Jesus told in the Bible about a man who had so many amazing things, but then he saw something even more precious than all his things.
This is from Stories Jesus Told by Nick Butterworth. Here is a man who buys and sells things. He is called a merchant. He has a fine fur coat and a felt hat with a floppy feather. It is his favourite. The house he lives in is huge. It has 5 floors and a fish pond with a fountain in the front garden. The merchant has everything he wants. He has 15 rooms filled with furniture. He has 4 freezers full of food and 3 fridges for fizzy drinks. And there is more money under his mattresses than you could ever imagine. Much more. Yes, the merchant has everything he wants until one day in the shop window he sees something special. It is a wonderful white pearl. £500,000, says the man in the shop. It is even more money than the merchant has under his mattresses, but he wants that pearl more than anything in the world. He hurries home. He has a plan. He sells his furniture, his fridges, and his freezers full of food. He sells his house, his fountain, and his fish ponds. He sells his fine fur coat, but the felt hat with the floppy feather he keeps. It is his favourite. He borrows a barrel and bundles in the money. Off to the shops he treads to buy the pearl. Oh dear, he's still £6 short. Sell me your hat for £6, says the man in the shop. The merchant laughs and hands the man his hat and takes the pearl. Hooray, the pearl is his at last. Jesus says God is like the merchant's pearl. It costs everything to know him, but he is worth more than anything in the world.
I hope you enjoyed the story. We're turning into icicles out here, aren't we? It's so cold. So, Paul wrote a letter to the Philippians, and in that letter, he said, just like the man we read in the story, that he considers everything as rubbish compared to knowing Jesus?
So you're probably all used to doing some lessons at home at the moment, and we're going to have a little maths lesson. So Eleanor's been doing lots of adding up and subtracting, haven't you? Yeah, so we're going to do some maths. So, and this is quite special maths because it's a bit different to what you might learn in school. So we're going to start off with Jesus. And we're going to add nothing. So what do you think we might get? And we're going to do another sum as well. I'll tell you the answers in a minute.
Oh yeah.
So we're going to do, I can't spell. Everything.
Nothing.
And this is going to be a takeaway.
Taking Nando's takeaway.
Not that kind of takeaway.
As in the day.
And we're going to take away Jesus. So, if you add nothing at all to Jesus, you
Makes
get
everything.
everything. And if you take Jesus away from having everything, what do you get?
Nothing.
Nothing. My pen's running out. So that is God's maths. So it's a bit different to the maths you learn in school. But if you add nothing to Jesus, you have everything. But if you take Jesus away from having everything, you're left with nothing. So, if our greatest treasure is knowing Jesus, how can we know Jesus?
It's the same as getting a new friend.
It's the same as getting to know any new friend, isn't it? So how do you do that, Eleanor?
So you read, so you talk to him, which is praying. You listen to him, which is reading the Bible, and you spend time with him.
Yeah. So we've asked some friends what it means to them to have Jesus as their greatest treasure.
What does it mean to have Jesus as your greatest treasure? Okay, for me, I feel safe having Jesus even in situations that are scary.
Having Jesus as our greatest treasure means that we decided to hold on to him throughout our whole lives.
And we can trust that he's holding on to us too.
Hello!
So we've been talking about how Jesus is our greatest treasure and he's worth far more than anything else. So we're going to make a craft that's going to remind us of that. What are we going to make, Eleanor?
Piggy banks!
So the first really important thing is to look at your bottle. So this one is a really good bottle because the opening is big enough to fit our biggest coins in, so the £2 coin and the 50p coin. So if you use one like this, then you'll be able to get your money out just by opening the lid. If you've got one like my one, we're going to need to make another opening because otherwise your big coins are going to be stuck in forever because they don't fit through this. Alright, so the first thing you're going to do, if you do have one like mine, we need to make that opening. So we're going to cut around the front part, and then because mine's a bit long, I'm probably going to cut a section out, so then I'm going to cut around here. So we'll have two halves, and that means when we want to get our money out of this one, we can just take the front off. So once you've got your bottles ready, the next thing you need to do, and you need to get a grown-up to help with this, is you need to cut a slot in the top that you're going to be able to put your money in. We're going to stick some coloured paper around the middle, which will make our piggy bank look a bit like a pig. So once you've got it covered, then you need to remember where your hole was and just make sure that you've got a little cut in your covering as well.
Here's mine.
So then the next thing we need to do is we need to get some plain paper, or if you've still got some coloured paper left, you could use that as well. And we need to make sure that we can cut out some ears, some eyes, and a nose. And for the nose, you're going to take the lid of your bottle and you can just draw around it. So let's cut out all our body parts. And then you're going to stick your nose onto the lid, screw it back on. And then next, you can stick your ears on. And then you're going to need to stick your eyes on. So that it doesn't roll around, you need some legs. So we're going to use
Sticks.
make a small hole and sort of shove them through so that they'll hold it all in place. Now Ellen has made a very good point that we've not made a tail. So the other thing to cut out is a curly whirly tail that you can then just stick onto the back. So there you have your piggy bank.
And don't forget the birth.
So the most important thing, the reason it's going to remind us that Jesus is worth much more than anything else, including our money, is we're going to write a verse on a piece of paper and we're going to stick it on the top. And the verse we're going to write is Philippians 3, verse 8, the beginning of it. So we're going to write it in the New Living Translation. And there you have it. So now we're going to sing a song about how knowing Jesus is better than anything else.
He's the one who makes the sun shine. He's the one who puts the moon in the